What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast. And today we have a really special guest in the building. Listen, this song here has won World Clash 8 times. They've traveled 4 corners of the earth. They've done some amazing stuff. They've done stadium shows. Listen, we have in the building today, we have Sami-T from Mighty Crown in the building today. What's going on, big boss?
Hey, well, go on, man. Konnichiwa, Muscle. Yo, it's been a long while, man. Canadian Muscle, the whole world. What's good? What's good?
Definitely thank you for joining us here today, because I know somebody like you, your experiences over the past 30 years are going to be so interesting to listen to tonight.
Okay, let's do this, man. Let's go.
All right, let's go. So on this podcast, we like to go right from the beginning and then bring it right up to 2023. So where were you born in Japan, and what type of child were you?
It's hard to explain what kind of child I was, but yeah, I was born in Yokohama, Japan, which is like a half hour from Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan. Yeah, so that's where I born and raised. Since yes, basically. And what kind of child I was? I was a decent child, very very good child, I guess. Yeah, it's hard to describe yourself, what kind of child you was. Like, I don't know, like it's people who judge around me. I got judged what kind of child I was. It's better. I need to ask my parents, man. I'd be like, yo, what kind of child I was, man? Like rude or
From there, and even growing up, did you have how many brothers and sisters did you have growing up at that time?
Yeah, may have one blood brother, Yeah, I have brothers all over. It's not blood brother, but yeah, and my partner in crime, Master Simon, is my real brother. Yeah, so he's 2 years older than me.
From there, and then you guys growing up in Yokohama now, what did you think growing up you were going to get into? Did you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, engineer? What did you think you were going to get into?
I was into soccer a lot, like football. You call it soccer, I guess, right? Yeah. So yeah, I was like a sport kid. Like I used to do a lot of sports, like always running around, being active. I was an active kid, man. I was really active, and then like doing skateboards and stuff like that from a younger age, like since I was like 6th grade or like 7th grade, around that time. Yeah, so I used to do skateboard a lot. I used to play soccer a lot, and yeah, very active child, man.
Active child there coming up. So even now that you're into all type of stuff there, what did you discover first? Did you discover hip hop first or reggae first?
Before hip hop was like, I was lucky to, like my parents used to listen to not the Japanese music, but more like like English music, like pop music. Like for instance, like Beatles, like Carpenter, Stevie Wonder, them kind of music. My parents used to play those kind of music in the car and stuff like that. So growing up listening to them kind of music, of course we've been listening to some of the like Japanese music as well, but I discovered hip hop like around 89, 90-ish. Yeah, and I was like probably like 15, 16, like around that time. Yeah.
And who were you listening to in hip hop that time there? Because I know at that time, 89, 90 would have been, this is probably past Fat Boys, and this is probably like LL Cool J and these guys.
Yeah, around that era. So I used to start listening to like Public Enemy. Who else? No, Public Enemy, like Run DMC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who else? No, I'm forgetting a one big man name, man. Sure, but like definitely NWA, like Easy E. Um, who else? No, they used to have a crew named like Third Base.
Yes.
Yeah, so I used to do like Third Base. Public Enemy was big. NWA was really big for me. Like I was really into like Easy E, like him cussing out, like cussing out people. I'm like, yo, fuck this, this is really this bad.
Yeah.
As a child, I was like, really, yo, the fuck, man. Like, I used to love his voice as well. Like,
Mm-hmm. Easy E.
yeah, yeah, he was one of the guys, man. Like, really.
Definitely. And did you get interested in DJing this time, like when you're listening to hip hop, or DJing didn't come into play until you got into reggae?
No, DJ was coming into play right there. Like I wanted to become a DJ when I start listening to hip hop, and then start buying records and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yo, I wanna play. I like the whole art of DJ going like this and mixing the song, but I had none of those skills though at that time because I didn't even have a turntable.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had to go buy one, right? I needed two turntables, so I worked my ass off, as a kid, like getting go do some work over here, over there, and collecting that money because it wasn't cheap. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
one turntable was like maybe like $500 or
Yeah.
it was probably more, but like I got like the second hand. You got the used one from one of my brethren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so one of my brethren was like, "Yo, I'm about to Lego my two turntables. So you wanted to buy it?" And I was like, "Yo, I want to buy that shit." And then that's how I bought the turntable.
Back there. And what was your DJ name back then when you were DJing hip hop?
I didn't really have a name, man. I was just because I was even I was just a kid, like just playing like I didn't have a name, man. Not really. Like I didn't. No name.
Mm-hmm. No name. So then you're DJing, you're fooling around with the hip hop. When did you now discover reggae or dancehall, whichever one came first?
It came like about the same time, but what I remember, like from my memory, is like first when it come to like reggae, I listened Bob Marley. I remember listening to a Legend album, and then it was a different inspiration, different like vibe. I was like, wow, what the fuck is this? Like as a kid in Japan and listening to,
Mm-hmm.
like finally meeting Bob Marley record. And I was like, what the fuck is this? This is totally different, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
from the music that I was listening, like from a child. And then I was like, really like kind of like shocked in a way. I'm like listening to his messages and,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, this is wicked. And then at the same time, like one of my brethren went to Jamaica and came back,
Yeah.
and then he brought a cassette tape, sound system cassette tape,
Mm.
and then that's how really I got into reggae, dancehall, sound system culture scene.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a cassette tape that like I was listening to. Like I used to listen to like Super Saint. They used to have a song named Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Like Stone Low, Gyro, Adi, Stereo Mars.
Yes.
Like all these foundation cassettes that's coming in one by one, and then that was it.
And what was it that you liked about the sound tapes back then? What was it that really appealed to you? Because remember, you're listening to NWA. That's totally different than what you hear now on these sound tapes. What was it in particular?
patois, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, the Jamaican language was so it struck me. It was a vibe, interesting. Like in the early days, I thought bomba club was like a word to hail up people. Like, yo, the word, the way how it sounds, like they'd be like, yo, bomba club. You just want to say the word bomba club. You know what I mean? Like, yo, what's up, bomba club? Like them kind of vibe. You know what I mean? It's like it was really, yeah, like it was the patois language that kind of struck me. Like, listening to the songs them and the MC them and stuff like that. One of my big inspiration on soul system, um, soul man, I should say, right, is Captain Midnight from Super
Mhm.
Saiyan. I think he's in Canada, right?
He was here for a while, but then he moved back to Jamaica. So he's in Jamaica.
Oh,
So you are right. You know what you're talking about there.
yo, I would love to do an interview with him still. I'm not gonna lie. I've
Yeah.
never met the man, but like, his voice used to be like, like authentic, like really cool, like, loving style there. And then the way how he MC the intro, the songs them, you know, was one of like early days inspiration, definitely.
Mhm.
And yeah.
The thing with Captain Midnight too, he would kill you with 45s. Not a lot of dubs, but you see when it
Yeah.
comes to those 45s, don't ramp with Midnight.
Yeah, like that's how I kind of like learn, like really, like, he wasn't really like a dubplate person, I guess.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so that's how I kind of learned like a lot of songs too, like the way how I MC the intro the song them, man. Yeah, man. And then definitely like who else know? Yeah, definitely Rory, like
Mhm.
Stole Up, the juggling side, like another different style.
Mhm.
And yeah, and back in the days, right, used to be like more like a rubber dub. Sound used to be like more like a rubber dub style, meaning like artists, performing, like, you play the record, the version, and you flip it and you use the instrumental, and the artist used to sing, right? And and Super Cat Nicodemus was my man. Like, always listening to them Monday was like, it was wicked, man. That was like another big inspiration as a kid, like listening to. So it's always been like the patois language that was like,
Mhm.
I'll pull up my selector, like all them something there, like, because
Yeah.
man, nah lie, I used to listen to cassette tape. Like once I get the one cassette,
Mhm.
I probably listen to that cassette like 100 times.
Of course, especially being in somewhere like Japan where it's not accessible every week,
Hmm.
you'll probably have like a small selection and you're beating that every.
Yeah, exactly. Because remember those back in the days, like, have no internet. You had to go there, or somebody had to fly down there and bring back the cassette tape.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man.
That was there. So then, no, when did you actually tell your brother no? Say, hey, look, this is what I'm listening to, and I want to actually build a sound system. Or how did that go?
Like the first inspiration, like the way how we started building the sound system was when I fly into New York when I was like, I think I was like 17 around them time there.
Mhm.
And first time when I went to Biltmore Ballroom, a kid from Japan, like 17-year-old, all the people like in the city, right? In Manhattan was like, yo, don't go to Brooklyn, man. Like, you know, yo, that's the ghetto, that's the yo, you know, that's the garrison. Don't even try to go there. Like, man like you, man, you're gonna get killed, man. That was the kind of vibe there, right?
Mhm.
But passion over one the scariness of the streets for me. Like, I was so, into this shit. I was like, yo, I gotta go there, man, in order to discover. That's how I, start going to dances, going by records at Superpower Records and stuff like that in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
So I discovered Biltmore Ballroom, and that's the first time I ever listened to like sound system, like real sound system.
Mhm.
And I still remember it was Stone Love versus King Addies and Supercat live. So it was all like, dream come true kind of vibe there, as a reggae and dancehall fan, as a sound system fan.
Mhm.
Like going to Biltmore was like, because there was no Japanese youth at that time, really, like in Biltmore Ballroom. You will only see like, I know like a couple of my friends been to Biltmore Ballroom and stuff, but that was the first time I ever like really experienced a sound system, and I was like, yo, I gotta bring this shit back to Japan, man. Like, I mean, there was other sound before, before Mighty Crown. Before Mighty Crown was like, they used to have a song called Taxi Hi-Fi,
Yes.
which
No
is
taxi.
one of the first sound system in Japan. And there was also a song named Killa Sound Movements.
Mhm.
They bought like, I think, old Stone Love sound system, and they brought it back to Japan and kind of vibe it.
Okay.
So that was like, yeah, so they used to have a soul system like early in Japan, right? But like I didn't really go through listening to those sounds in Japan. I like kind of jumped that whole part, and then I just went to New York and went to see the real, you know? Yeah,
Why
so that was
why
the
New York though? Why New York and not Jamaica?
um like, I went to like university like in New York. So that was one of the ways like how, I was like, yo, I gotta go to, that was the way how to reach. Well, there wasn't really like no school in Jamaica where, I mean, there was UE and stuff, but I didn't really know about them kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, New York was like, I knew there was a lot of Jamaican community in New York. It was either LA or New York for me, but like I picked New York because there was more of a bigger Jamaican community, like more bigger Caribbean community, right?
Mhm.
But I didn't really like I knew like there was a whole big scene in New York. So that was one of the reasons why I chose New York. And then the access like from New York
Mhm.
to Jamaica is not too far compared to Japan, because like, yeah, back in the days they used to have like a flight still, like from Japan to Jamaica straight. Like I think it's like 16 or 17 hours flight or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it
Back
was New York, man. New York was my place. Like
was so you're doing your stuff. You went to New York. Now you're going to school. What did you take in school at that time there?
like yo, I'm not lie, I was just doing like general studies, but I wasn't really um in school, man.
Mm.
I just like entered the university. Like I went to a school named Pace University in downtown like New York. And then like the first maybe like only like maybe 1 or 2 months I used to really like, try to attend school,
Mm.
right? Because I was so into reggae and dancehall sound system, you know. Like I end up like going from Pace University to Street University.
I hear you.
So by the third like that by the third month, I was in Brooklyn like every fucking day. And then
Yeah.
I didn't know patois, right? I kind of was able to speak English because I went to like American school in Japan, right?
Mhm.
So that's how I kind of learned speaking English. But patois was a whole different game, man. It was a totally different game. And then I was like, yo, I wanted to learn the language so bad. Like I was listening to cassette and stuff, but like in order for me, I learned patois in Brooklyn. Like basically like being in the streets, like always in a Jamaican restaurant eating food. I still remember I used to go to this restaurant called Badu Restaurant.
Mhm.
Then we used to have an artist named Reverend Badu in New York.
Mhm.
Yeah, people would be like, who the fuck? Who the fuck is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be in that streets. Like, well, I guess people never expect me if you say Reverend Badu. Reverend Badu was one of the first. Well, Reverend Badu was the first artist, man, by Vice, you know.
Oh, he was the first one.
Reverend Badu and Nicodemus was the first artist, my Vice.
Yeah.
Yo, it was so funny. Like this is the way how I discovered voicing dubplate, right? You know, being a soul man, like in Japan, just named Mighty Crown ourselves, and then just starting the song, right? And then
Mhm.
when I flew into New York, one of my mission was to go voice a dubplate,
Yeah.
special for Mighty Crown soul. Like I wanted to, you know, my whole crew, you know, worked, and then every month like pay like $300, $400 on the table. I'll collect that money. I'm like, yo, all right, I have a grand now. I'm gonna go vice a dub plate, man. And then so I book up on a record shop in Manhattan. I think it was a record shop named East Side Records.
Mhm.
Right? Back in the days, like basically, you know, I went to that record shop to go buy some weed. I mean, as a kid, and I was like, yeah, I want to get some weed, man. I was asking some of the peoples, and I'm like, yeah, where's a good place to buy some weed? And you know, it's like, yo, go check out that record shop. And then I went to that record shop, and you know, they used to have a lot of cassette tapes as well. So I used to go buy a cassette tape and the weed, right? So go in there for like a couple times, and like you know, I started to have a conversation with the guy in the record store. I was like, yo, I do a song system, and you know, I want to go vice the dub plate, man. I want to vice Nicodemus. Do you know a guy like has a connection to it? And then he was like,
Mhm.
yo, I know a DJ named Reverend Badu, man. He's my brethren. So I'll hook you up. And he called Badu at that spot. And then I spoke with him, and I was like, yeah, I want to vice Nicodemus, man. And then he was like, yeah, I'll hook you up, man. Just come to this studio. He gave me the address and all that. And that's how I voiced my first dubplate. Reverend Badu and Nicodemus.
What was that experience like now, voicing your first dub? Did you even know what you're doing, picking rhythms, and did you know what to expect?
Nah, man. Hell fucking no. A kid from Japan, 17-year first time experience Brooklyn, and you know. But it was a enlightening moment, man. You know, being yourself as a soul man. You know, we didn't haven't really have a sound system yet, but like building up, going up that ladder, and then the first dub play experience was like it was a moment where because it's Nicodemus, one of my favorite fucking artists, right? Listening to cassette tapes, and then I'm like, yo, this is the fucking guy I was listening on the cassette tape, and this is the real fucking man right here in front of me.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, and he's saying, yo, big up Mighty Crown. I'm like, bomba clad, man, just a Mighty Crown. That feeling was like, oh man.
Mhm.
And then like, another great part was like after voicing the dub plate, right? Those were the days like you record on a cassette tape, on a high bias cassette tape. That
Mhm.
was the master tape, right? So I was so stupid. I was so excited, right? I went to cut a dub plate, and after I cut the dub plate, I was so fucking excited the whole day after voicing the dub plate, right?
Mhm.
Going back to the yard, like I was listening to my dub plate with the master tape, without I should duplicate that cassette tape,
Mhm.
but I was listening to that master tape over and over and over, like basically mushing up my master tape, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that, how did you guys come up with the name Mikey Crow? And how did you get your name, Sami-T?
Well, Sami-T, Sami is my real name, so and T, I kind of add T. My family name is called Tay, so I kind of had the T already, but T was more like as in turntable, like technician, you know, like that kind of vibe there. So that's how I got my name Sami-T. And Mighty Crown. Before Mighty Crown, like our crew was somebody had a name called Super Lovers. And I was like, what kind of fucker name that? Like, what I mean? Super Lovers. I'm like, no. Like, nothing connect. Like, it wasn't me who actually named that name, but we just wanted a name, like, as a crew. And then, but in Japanese, you say Super Lovers. It kind of sounded cool, but when
you said it in English,
yo, like, no, sir. You could have get a gunshot for that blood. So basically, we didn't really pre about name at that time. Like, we just, a bunch of kids, hanging around together. They love music, playing records and start buying 45s and stuff. And, gathering as a group and, playing like these records was like more the interesting part. So we didn't really care about the name, but like, I come up we're like, yo, we need to change this fucking name, man. Yo, no, man, this shit ain't right. And then, listening to all the line of cassette tapes, and they used to have a song named Turbo Crown. In countryside, one of them country there. Yeah, and then, back in the days, right, like the cassette tape is duplicated and duplicated and duplicated. So it's not the master, you know what I mean? Like, it's about 10 times already duplicated by the time it reached Japan. So when I first listened to the Turbo Crown cassette tape, right? Like, listen to the song, it was so fast. Like, it's not on the normal speed, like, because of the dubplate, duplicate. So, like, you hear the intro, like, I think it would be like about, yo, big up the Turbo Crown crew, big up yourself. But when you listen to the cassette already, by the time it reached Japan, it's like, yo, big up the Turbo Sound crew, yo, big up yourself, like, fast like that. You know what I mean? So I thought Turbo Crown was named because, the cassette tape was so fast already. I was like, that's why they named Turbo, Okay, but then, like, the word crown kind of stuck with us already, like, at that time. It was like, yo, crown is a good name, you know what I mean? So we needed something to add up with crown, like, yo, crown is good, but I want to use crown, but we had crown first, and then one like, so what kind of crown, like, we were going through, like, and I went through like an album, one of I think it was a Junior Reid album, and then I was looking to the album jacket, right, album cover, and then I was like, okay, so it says like special thanks to Almighty Father, Ray, bigging up all the people who was involved in the album, but like the word Almighty struck me. And I was like, yo, the word Almighty, mighty. Yo, and I was like, Mighty Crown kind of sound wicked, and then I said, yo, how about Mighty Crown? And the whole crew was like, yo, that sounds right. And that's how it became Mighty Crown.
It's always interesting because, again, we hear the name, we see you guys on stage, we see you doing all this stuff here. We know the name, but a lot of people have no clue how you even came up with these names in the first place.
Yeah, true, man. Yeah, so that's how we kind of came up with the name, and the name really like going along, and I really, really think like, yo, naming your sound was very important, because Mighty Crown really is like mighty wear the crown, you know. So it's really outstanding, you know. Every man has a crown, you know what I mean? And it's mighty, mighty wear the crown. Yeah, it's a very powerful name, I believe. Like, you know, and I'm glad like it wasn't Super Lovers, man. If we probably wouldn't last long if it was Super Lovers song, you know. It would probably be like, you know, probably not the first or the second year. You're rest in peace, Super Lover son. You're fucking dead. You know, you don't belong here. Get the fuck out.
That will be so easy to card. But I could see them carding you from no till a morning with that name there. In Soundclash, bro, you're dead.
What?
You're
Yeah, man.
dead.
There's no chance of even surviving one round, I think.
Mhm. You're dead. There, so you cut the Nicodemus, the Reverend Badu, and everything. You brought it back to Japan. So then now you have this dubplate. Did you guys start juggling or clashing? What was the move in Japan at that time there?
Yeah, we basically, you know, keeping our own party, you know what I mean? Like basically a Mighty Crown show, basically juggling. But
Mhm.
but we started clashing like, you know, because we knew the clashing shit from the cassette tape. Like, you know,
Mhm.
you used to, you know, listen to these cassette tape, Jaro versus Ray, you know, like basically two sound system in one cassette tape. Like, you know,
Mhm.
listening to those back in the cassette tape days, and then yeah, so like we used to like clash as well.
Mhm.
Like the local songs, like other Japanese songs, like in Japan, who had their own crew, and then so we basically started, you know, doing 1 and 2 clashes locally, you know, and then start beat them up one by one.
Mm.
And then basically like we used to keep a party, and then basically, you know, playing these dubplate and stuff like that in a juggling dance, and the reaction was like, I felt that like the reaction with the people, like people listening to you know, a dubplate and hearing the word Mighty Crown coming from an artist, people was like, wow, what the fuck was that, like, you know.
At that point.
Yeah.
So even with the clashes, did you guys ever clash this song named Judgment? Because that was the first Japanese song I remember hearing about.
hmm so Judgment, yeah, we clashed them in, I think back in 96 or 7.
Mhm.
They used to live in Jamaica. They used to own a record shop in Japan, and then back in the days, record used to sell, you know.
Mhm.
So they used to have an office in Jamaica as well. You know, they were doing big. So and then they I think Chupa used to take care of them, like carry them around, like, you
Mhm.
know. So I think they was good friend with Chupa, and I remember like Judgment. So they used to start play in Jamaica. So that's how, you know, people probably know about Judgment first. Them time the Mighty Crown name no call yet. Not
Mhm.
at all. Not at all. Because yeah, until 99, people really didn't even know about Mighty Crown. It was
Mhm.
Judgment, like from 97, 98. But
Mhm.
around 97, like we clashed them in Japan and beat them up too, you know.
You guys won the clash.
Yeah, we won that clash, but like, you know, in freedom turf, like
Mhm.
different countries, a different tone, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Cause we never really clashed in my hometown because I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
just always a away game, not home game, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um yeah, so we beat them up, and then, you know, coming up the ladder now, you know, clashing all of the sounds now in Japan. Like
Mhm.
beat them one by one. And then like I think in 99, like, you know, some of like other songs, top songs in Japan,
Mhm.
there was like, yo, so who are the number one kind of vibe, you know? Who there was a like the song name, well, Taxi Hi-Fi is one of the song, and then the
I
other
remember
song,
Red Spider and these songs are from back then also.
yeah. The Red Spider wasn't really clashing though, like, you know, they was there, but like they wasn't really clashing at that time. And then there was also a song named Tokiwa, which was like a whole big crew with like artists, and their name used to ring in Japan. And so It was like, yo, who are the number one kind of clash, and we beat them. We basically beat every sound in Japan, and was like, yo, all right, now it's time for us to, you know, go a foreign and challenge a foreign clash.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we kind of started. But basically, we started clashing in like New York and other places besides Japan from 99. Our first clash was 97 though in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we used to clash a song named Legacy song, like in Boston, and then we beat them too.
Mm-hmm.
Because people never expect a Japanese to play dubplate and, you know.
And cussing bad words. That was
Yeah.
your claim to fame. The bad dubs and the cussing bad words.
Yeah, I still remember that clash though, like back in 97, and you know, because it's the first time we going to Boston, and we was booked as a juggling date, right?
Mm.
It was booked as a juggling date, and by the time we reached venue, because first time we going to Boston, and we kind of reached late, driving from New York, and then like the soundman, right, Legacy you was like, yo, Mr. Chin, wanna come bomber club Boston later and wanna disrespect the people and real like man start flip up and we, you know. This is the first time we going to Boston. We don't even really know about clashing and stuff, and man wanted to kill Mighty Girl so bad before our name a ring, you know. But then like man start flip up, and while we are carrying the dub plate going towards the stage, right? He's like, yo, Mr. Chin, you're dead. And then man start play like Yellow Man say, yo, Mr. Chin, hey, do the right thing, Mr. Chin. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here, man? So by the time I reached the stage, it was like a clash vibe. And then, you know, it was like, all right. And then we started playing some, you know, we only had like very few dub plate at that time, right? And you know, you used to have that container like box, the record dub plate box.
Of course, there was either the ones that came the white box, the transco box.
Yeah, yes, transco box. Yeah. So we only had like maybe one of that shit, like one or two of them, right? Which is not much, you know what I mean?
Like 25 plates for this.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the amount of the amount of dub plate we have. But like Legacy didn't really have no dub plate at all. Right? But he was running off his mouth, you know, playing other hot songs them, and you know, I remember like playing a Anthony B song, which is not even a really big song, you know. But the song goes like, hype them hype, true mighty girl in a pop off them strive, and then that song had like calling names like Jaro, Stone Love, all the big sound name.
Okay.
It's called, you know, in the verse part, right? But then we're not clashing Jaro or none of these big sound then at that time. So when I play that song and then I pull up the song and yo, pussy, you know why your name never called in the dub plate? Because you're bumper class, second class. Move your bumper class, I'm gonna get that ras forward. People was like, what the fuck? This is you know, this is the first time people watching the Japanese kid, you know what I mean? Like playing dub plate and cussing bad, but yo, Legacy son, you know why your son name not calling the dub plate? Because you're second class. Move your bum, and your whole place lift up, and yeah, that was it, man. It was a rap for them. Like people was like, what the fuck? Yo, the dance wasn't really packed, but it had a vibe, you know what I mean?
Because that was 98, because I know another 98 dance you guys did right before you guys got to World Clash, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was the Hardcore Foundation Clash, I think, with Downbeat.
Yeah, Downbeat and Saxon. Yeah.
Yes. Coxon.
Yeah. Yeah, Coxon song. So yeah, so and that was really it was kind of hard. Yo, but you know, like when it comes to deep box, you can't beat Downbeat, you know what I mean? Downbeat box too deep, you know. You know what I mean? But the way how we won that clash, it was only strictly 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, You can't, I think it was, up to 90s. Yeah, I don't think you were able to play, well, that was like 99, so I think it was up till, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But it was only foundation, like, no new tune can play kind of vibe there, right? But
Mhm.
Don't Be went too deep with his dope box, and people couldn't really, I think, really connect with the songs them.
Mhm.
So we play more like the popular foundation songs them. I mean, where people can relate, like people know kind of vibe there, you know what I mean?
The Rankin Joes and the Nick
Like,
D and the Sammy
so
Dreads and those type of stuff there.
Courtney Melody and, all them
Mhm.
song there where people kind of, you know, know, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not like, not like the Don Angelo or, you know what I mean? Like, them some of them song they're like,
Mhm.
that's too deep, you know what I mean? Only like maybe like the soul man might be like, yo, that
Mhm.
song they bad. But
Mhm.
like the people in general probably was like, yo, man, I know that song there.
Mhm.
So that's how we kind of, won that clash still. But like at the same time, and not like, like it was the first time, people seeing a Japanese you playing all these foundation dub, and they were surprised, man. I'm like, yo, that you they know the songs them. So and then plus we cussing the bad word them, because we like the whole the patois language,
Mhm.
bumbaclat and all these words which we even know it was a cussing word like back in the days. Yo,
It just
all right, back in the days you used to call like, like a idiot DJ, a dibby dibby DJ, right?
Mhm.
Dibby dibby, the way how it sound was like so fascinating. I thought it was another ailing up way of, it was basically a bigging up artist.
Yeah.
So when you see an artist like, yo, the artist dibby dibby, yo, like meaning like in our art we believe it's a
It's a
ailing up,
it's a big
yeah.
up.
Yeah, it's a big up. You feel say, yo, he's a bad artist, like kind of vibe there. But we were like, yo, that artist at DB DB, yo, DB DB DJ, come
I remember Cutty Ranks had the song "Dibby Dibby
here.
DJ."
DJ,
So
yeah.
in your mind, you're thinking that it's a big up at that time there.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. DB DB DJ, the way how it sounds, the words like DB DB, bomboclat, and yo, these words was just like the punch where when you listen to the words, man, you
Mhm.
as a kid in Japan, you just feel the energy of the word, but you never feel say it's like a fuck you kind of word, you know what I mean?
You didn't get it, so then
Yeah, I
you
didn't
guys
get it at all, man, but I saw it go on.
for sure. So you guys won the hardcore dance. You guys beat up Legacy. Then now, so then how do you guys end up in World Clash '99? Because this is now the big leagues. You've been listening to Jaros, you've been listening to the Bass Odysseys and the
Uh-huh.
Mataran, but now you're in the arena with them. How did that come up now?
Yeah, so because of the vintage clash and we had a clash before as well, with Bass Odyssey and Coxon. Well, that's kind of flop, but like, it was a I think the cassette circulates still. And then I think Irish and Chin keep those dance system too.
Mm,
But we never really team up at that time, right? We didn't know them. And then for the word clash, Irish and Chin was discovering because it named word clash, they wanted like some international kind of look, right? I think.
mm,
So they were searching for some song from different part of the world. And then Judgment was in the name, was called already. You know what I mean? As you said, like you knew about Judgment. So people kind of knew about Judgment song from Japan.
mhm,
And then Chin, I heard this from Chin, but I heard like he was gonna go with Judgment first,
mhm,
right? Um, but then we used to base in New York back in the days, like until 90, 99, whatever, before Wyclef, right? We always were in the streets of Brooklyn, so people kind of in Brooklyn knew about us. A Japanese youth and playing sound like from Japan, and they knew about Mighty Crown. If you were in Brooklyn, like, because I was always around there.
Yeah.
So one of the cassette man in this is what I heard. One of the cassette man from Brooklyn was like, so Chin was looking for another song and he was gonna go for Judgment, like but then one of the cassette man from Brooklyn was like, yo, you gotta go with Mighty Crown. Yo, them you they're bad, like So I don't know which song man who that is, but I gotta big him up because he recommend Mighty Crown for we, and then Chin was like, all right, let's try Mighty Crown then, He just wanted to have a Japanese song or, one of them foreign songs to get involved. So, he has a look with, Japan flag, Jamaica flag, US flag, because we're talking about, Mataran, just gone solo and in prime. I mean, and then Trooper, Killamanjaro with Trooper. You know what I mean? And then, it was supposed to be Bass Odyssey, but we didn't know that Bass Odyssey wasn't going to be there till we reached the venue because of the visa issue or one of them things. Yeah, so nobody fucking cared about Mighty Crown, but it was like, yo, all right, Mighty Crown, who the fuck are these kids? Like, nobody. It was so definitely an underdog. Nobody fucking expected us, basically like going up towards the stage again. We carrying the dub box, and then the Brooklyn used them rough,
Yes.
They be like tapping you like, yo, Japanese boy, you got dead tonight, It was, it's in Brooklyn, it was rough, man. In that neighborhood, like, being there, as a Japanese kid, and the people like, yo, Japanese, you got dead tonight, yo, Jara, I got slew or no. Like, them kind of vibe that before you go up there, and, people's like, yo, Japanese, you can't speak, you can't chat patois, like, them kind of vibe there,
Yeah, we learned that night.
Yeah, they never expect me if we talk first, and then they never expect us to, play these songs, and then that was, I guess, like, I guess I could say a history in the making, like, in the sound system arena, because nobody expect us to play those dubs. Nobody expect us to play, chat patois. Cause when we up there, yo, big up all of the Brooklyn, New York gang, yo, Bronx, Queens, like, people's like, oh my God, you have chat patois, like, yo, we're not afraid of the blood clot Jara matter right now. We'll play some tune and murder your blood clot. People like, bomb clot. And now people's like, all right, now you can talk now. Let's see what kind of tune y'all play now. And we started playing some tune because, them time they like bug rhythm and, them kind of song was the hot song them, and we flip it on Chase Vampire rhythm, man. Yeah, it was definitely history in the making, and then yeah.
Did you end up going to Jamaica to cut dubs that time there, or you didn't touch Jamaica yet?
Oh yeah, long time. We touched Jamaica from 93.
From 93 you were in Jamaica?
Yeah, like we started cutting dubs and stuff like from 93. Every year we go, we do our work, collect the money and then go to Jamaica, just go Vice. And then back in the days, our name never really called up yet, right? So people didn't even know, like, it was a Japanese song until they see us. I remember one time Junior Cat tell me, like I wanted to voice Junior Cat, right? So I got the number, I called him while I was in Jamaica, and then, you negotiate with the artist, like, yo, Bredchin, me only have this amount of money, and yeah, more want 2 songs, I'm like, what is our name? Yeah, Mighty Crown we name, So, all right, youth. Me do it for you, man, right? And then Junior Cat was like, yo, which party there? So I'm like, Yeah, so me there. I think I was in Constant Spring or somewhere. Like, yeah, a Constant Spring me there, you know. So, all right, may I come forward and come pick you up right now, and we can go to the studio straight. And then, so he come, yo, me there. And so when I went outside, and when him see me, you know, he was like, "Bomba Clara, you Japanese?"
Mhm.
He's like, "Yo, you Japanese?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Are you there on the phone?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Bomba Clara, pussy Clara, you tricked me." I was like, "No, I didn't trick you. I was just speaking patois and, you know, negotiating with you." So I remember, like, he was like, "Bomba Clara," but he was so surprised, like, you know.
Mhm.
And then we don't make a deal already, you know. We don't negotiate on the phone, and, you know, this amount of food me I feel. I'm like, 1, 2 song. I'm like, yo, all right, me do it feel, you know. But once him see me, you know, he was like, yo, blood club, if I pay him more money, you know.
You were supposed to get the Japanese tax, but you didn't
Yeah,
get
man. I was like, yo, well, that's fuckery still, you know, to me. Like, the fuck is Japanese tax, man? You know what I mean? Yeah, whether
it.
Japanese or European or Jamaican, you know, I don't know if you know, have the same set price, man.
Nah,
Stop
bro, it
watching
doesn't
me
go that way.
skin color and blood clot charge me more, man. A fuckery that, man, I lie. I want to tell you this, man. That's a fuckery, you know, thing, you know, in the industry, you know. When once you know, say, you're Japanese, you charge more money. No, man. Come on, man. Japanese youth have, you know, is a lot of Japanese you don't have money too, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone have money. You know what I mean? Like, before our name call, you know, start, you know, Mighty Crown name start called after Work Clash. It
Mhm.
was a different game again in the industry. But before, like, you know, we a youth who trying to climb up the ladder, you trying to be one of the big songs them, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you know, as a same you, like, it's not like we fucking rich, you know. Which is a Japanese you trying to build a sound system, and, you know, it's a struggle too. So yeah, don't fucking tax me too much, man, about Japanese tax and them bumba clad.
You gotta send on the tax, bro.
Yo,
You
man.
know the game, bro. You know
Yo,
how the
man.
game works. All
No,
right,
but
so
it's yeah, it's fuckery, because let me get this clear still. It's
Mhm.
fuckery if you charge extra because we name Mighty Crowd, you know. Just
Mhm.
because we are big sound, right?
Mhm.
Because what I can say, once you voice in Mighty Crown, it's gonna be like 10, 20 songs who are gonna want to voice that same fucking dub plate.
Mhm.
We've been doing that shit. You know what I mean? Like, once I still remember voicing um Wayne Wonder dub plate, I think, right?
Mhm.
And we wrote the whole lyrics.
Mm.
I remember, like, nobody's calling your name, basically a counteraction.
The
And
counteract the Bass Odyssey tune them.
yeah, Bass Odyssey song,
Mhm.
right? And I counteract it like, yo, nobody's calling your name. And that became one of our, you know, tune them.
Mhm.
Yo, we fucking wrote that song. And then nobody had it, right? But then after, I hear like other songs like playing, start playing that same fucking lyrics. I'm like, yo, that's my fucking lyrics, man. But then, like, we kind of realized how powerful we was in the business, like, you know,
Mhm.
after that. I still remember, like, voicing a customized dub with Bounty Killer. And
Mhm.
Bounty at first was like, nah, man, yo, we're not doing them. We're not doing them something there,
Mhm.
right? But, like, you know, we beg Killer, like, yo, Killer, I need the lyrics like this, man. Trust me, this are gonna work, man. And then once Killer hear that song, you know, getting a ras forward in the One Eye Work Clash in Jamaica,
Mhm.
I think it was like, this a one of them trophy, like, you know, so one of them customized song there.
Mhm.
But after that, Killer was like, yo, that song the bad. So what kind of lyrics you have now? You know? The whole thing switch up. Like,
Yeah.
once we were, you know, because we were the customized fucking kings, man,
Yeah,
when it
no,
comes to dub plate.
you guys definitely when it came to you'd hear custom before, you know, but you
Mm-hmm.
guys took it to a completely different level where it was almost at one point it almost became almost overbearing because what Mighty Crown is going to come and play is one bag of customs. So it's like
See,
you almost don't even know what you're going to play in the next dance because you guys didn't really get the anthems yet. You guys were custom kings at this time.
yeah, like one thing like people are saying like we don't really have no anthems, you know. Maybe few anthems would be like maybe like the Nicodemus Rankin Joe or like Courtney Melody Ninja Me Ninja because you know that's like the signature, you know what I mean? But we didn't really have no anthem song where people are saying, yeah, that's Mighty Crown anthem song like the Bass Odyssey or Jaro or you know what I mean? Or Panther, you know what I mean? But definitely, yeah. So people was like, we were always like an element of surprise in our dance. People was like, yo, we don't know what kind of song the Japanese youth them are come in and play this time. So we kind of brought that kind of excitement as well. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, definitely.
So even when so you guys 199, you guys are doing good. When was that? Because remember, you guys won the Vintage Clash. You guys won World Clash. Where was the first time now where you guys freaking bucked up somebody and dead because you guys were so hot? Where was the first time you got that kill?
First time I got killed was from Rodigan, you know.
Rodigan?
Yeah, man, David Rodigan. Like after World Clash, I think it was the first clash after World Clash in Connecticut. And it was I would even say, you know, I got beaten from Rodigan. I got beaten from Wyclef. Because hear the story, right? So it was a good dance, like Rodigan versus Mighty Crown, first time buck up a Connecticut. And then Roddy was playing hard and Mighty Crown was going hard, you know. And then first round, second round, third round was really nice. Like, you know, it was the vibe in a dance, you know. But then I think it was like fourth round, like this is the longest tune for tune I ever did in my history, like in my life. I don't even know how much tunes I played. Like it was more than maybe 15 songs, maybe more. Like we were playing tune for tune, like back and back, like. And then at the end of the dance, right, nearly at coming towards the end of the dance, when the tune for tune start, right, Wyclef came to the dance, and then Wyclef had a biggest tune, Billboard #1 song at that time with Carlos Santana, product GB, right, and then it was a song called Maria Maria, #1 song on Billboard, and then I didn't even know that song at that time because I wasn't really, you know, preying upon hip hop or R&B at that time. I was so focused on reggae and dancehall, right? But then Wyclef stepped in, and that alone getting forward in a dance. And then the man give the dubplate to Rodigan. And he was like, yo, because they had a relationship already, you know, like because you know, BBC or I don't know. But then Rodigan knew Wyclef knew Rodigan. I obviously know who Wyclef is, but you know, Wyclef probably never know about Mighty Crown yet. So at that time, man just give the dubplate to Rodigan and like, yo, he was like, yo, play the first song. Once that tune come on, it was a wrap. Like, no, not even, no matter how bad I played after that, it was no coming back with that shit. Like, that was it. It was a wrap. Like, the way whole place lift up, it was like, yo, dance done. And that was the first, you know, kill I get after. But then, like, Wyclef probably felt bad, you know, because he only gave up to Rodigan, right? So after the dance, he came up to me and was like, yo, I'm a big fan. I'm like, yo, Bumbleclad, you give Rodigan the dubplate and you know, give me none. Yo, idiot thing that. So he probably felt bad, right? So he's like, yo, so Sammy, give me your number. Like, you know, we exchanged number. Like, he was like, yo, come to the studio. And then them time that, you know, Wyclef run the place, you know, him live in a studio, basically. Him have this studio for like, you know, the biggest studio in New York City. He used to have it like for a month or two, like, you know, recording the album and stuff. So somebody invited me, and then from there I was like, yo, Gumbuckler, I'm in Wyclef studio right now. Yeah, this is fucking crazy, man. Like, and then he was like, he's a big fan of sound system culture, soundclash culture, you know what I mean? So he was like, yo, so I'm gonna give you some dubplate. And then I had a rematch with Rodigan maybe like 5 months after that in Amazura, and then now I'm the one who's playing Wyclef towards him. So Roddy was pissed, man. Rodigan was like, I saw him fierce. I'm like, screw up, like, Bumbleclad, you have that song now. Like,
how did you get it?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Yeah.
I was speaking to Tarantula, and he said to me, okay, you see how Rodigan got that dub, and that was what killed you? Tarantula told me that you and Poison Dart were playing. The dance was going on good neck to neck to neck to neck.
Yeah.
You see, when you guys went and go draft for that Wyclef, it was a rap. Rap from there.
Yeah, because I had a custom dubplate with I made Wyclef do a customized Poison Dart, right? But then that Poison Dart dubplate was I don't know, maybe it was originally for maybe the song from Antigua, maybe, I'm not sure, I forgot. Maybe it was Poison Dart from Florida. But we had that dub already for Wyclef. So yeah, that was like, and it was customized. That's why, like, it got an extra mile. You know what I mean? People was like, yeah.
Tarantula said the forward came from the back, and it just built up, and just spilled on the stage, and that was a rap.
Yeah, I still remember that. That was one of the really like nice clashes. Still, man, I like. Poison Dart have war like fucking song them. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, guy, wicked. All right, another world clash. A name that you brought up, Bounty Killer. This is the 2001 world clash you was hosting.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where the controversy starts with Mighty Crow. Tell me what you remember about that clash there.
The one we lead the whole fucking dance that night. We were having like Bass Odyssey right round. We were about to win, and I thought I won, man, because the way you could tell, you know what I mean, I dance and you see the vibe and like, Bumbleclad, I'm gonna win this, But then the tune for tune, no. And then it was what I remember, right? Bounty Killer was drunk. We can talk about this now because me and Killer are friends now, you know what I mean? Like the beef is over. So so he probably has his own point of view, but from my point of view, I was like, yo, Killer drunk, and he said something about, yo, don't make the Japanese take over the business or some shit like that. He said that shit, right? So,
on the mic.
Yeah, on the mic. So, and then, we were leading, but the whole vibe kind of switched because, when the Warlords say that, people's gonna go for that, you know what I mean? And then, so when the dance done, they gave the trophy to Bass Odyssey, and we were like, Bumbleclad, yo. But at the time, we were like still young at the game, so I didn't have no bad feelings. I was like, oh shit, man, we nearly won, but we lost, you know what I mean? But it's whatever. It's not just one world class. We try to, win the next one again, kind of vibe there. But the street was talking itself. People was like, Bumbleclad, yo, Killer should have never said that, because it looked bad, you know what I mean? For in the industry, like, coming from Bounty Killer saying that shit was like, nah, man, yo, you named General, you are Warlord, you should have keep it like. But then people was like, nah, man, yo, you shouldn't say that shit, kind of vibe there. And then we didn't have no fucking feelings about that shit. But then, there was people talking about it, and then the word got to Killer, and then obviously a lot of Japanese soul wasn't feeling good about it neither, you know what I mean? Like, and and then the street was like, yo, Bumbuckler, Killer give away the trophy to Bass Odyssey, and that was kind of the word in the streets, and then we were like, but we were like, really, yo, whatever, man, next clash, you know what I mean? But then street was talking, sometimes the street talk is really powerful, man,
For sure.
and then at the time, like, and a lot of Japanese song, like, we didn't say nothing, right? But then remember, like, a lot of Japanese songs stopped voicing Bonte Kilafia. Why? Right? And he thought, like, we told all the Japanese because we powerful like that, but we never said nothing to the Japanese sound. Like, we never something like that, you know what I mean? So Killer thought, like, I fucking told all the Japanese something like, yo, stop Vice Killer, because nothing no gosa, I didn't even say a word to none of these soul man them. We might have a conversation with the 1 and 2 soul man from Japan and be like, yo, dog, yeah, it is what it is, but yo, Killer said this, man, they kind of fuck up still, man, I lie. But then, yeah, so then Killer feel away now because dubplate money now come in, and him feel say we are blocking food. But then not gossa, we didn't say shit. Like, it was just these someone them, making a decision on themselves due to Killer's act, right? But then, yeah, so that's how kind of, the beef start. Like, Killer was like, yo, that pussy Japanese boy, they block me food and this and, like, and we were like, oh, clot, man, because them time that you need Killer for advice, you know what I mean?
For sure. But weren't you guys basically like on a campaign to almost like a campaign against Killer at one time for a couple of months?
Yeah, man. Yeah, because, like, we trying to voice Killer don't want to voice it for my ticker. So, like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna survive with all these clashes without new Killer them. So, but there's a lot of bad artists in the industry, so you can kind of grow on it, you know what I mean? So I was playing like a lot of other artists without playing kind of Killer, the dance. Like, yo, look at my song, me can survive without playing Killer, kind of vibe there at that time, and the beat was going on for like maybe like nearly like 10 years or something, man. Like, maybe like 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
So, we probably were young at that time as well. Killa was young, we were young. So, yeah. So,
and how did you guys mend that fence there and say, okay, you know what? Bygones be bygones. Let's move forward.
I gotta say enough respect to Alliance for that shit, man. Like, man, like Bling Dog, like Wayne Marshall. Them man, they kind of, because we had the relationship with all the other artists, right? And then everybody, obviously we in the industry, and people kind of know like how we stay, and then like I heard like Bling Dog and Wayne Marshall, the rest of them man them from Alliance was like, yo, free up the youth, man. Them youth, they are good youth, man. Like, them not carry no really, MBR, grudge, or none of them something there. So they were like, yo, free up the Japanese youth, man. Because we were trying to approach Killer like a couple of the times after good years, after good 7-8 years, we were like, yo, Killer, free up the thing, man. We still want to voice the songs there, man,
Yeah.
And then, so Alliance Crew was like, yo, give the youth them a chance, man. Give the youth them a dubplate, and yeah. Because, yeah, it was all that at that moment, you know what I mean? When him said that word, and, it kind of looked fuck up for Killer, and, in the day, back in the day, but like, yeah, but it kind of, like, I learned a lot from that too, you know what I mean? It was interesting as well, you know what I mean? Like,
For sure, it's one of those.
It kind of get, yeah. It was like, it was a chat boat. It definitely in the industry, like, yo, blood clot Japanese dude, the Killer have a song dissing me.
What song is it?
I listened to a 145, it's like, nothing like Sami-T, and I was like so surprised. I was like, Bombo Club, my name I call on a 45.
Mm-hmm.
I feel great, man. Like I really felt great. I was like, yo, I never felt bad at all. I was like, yo, look how powerful me. I didn't realize. Like, I really realized at that moment, like, yo, me a powerful youth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Born to kill a calling name, my Sami-T name in a 45. I'm like, Bomba Clad, yo.
Big. Because even when you guys went through that and everything, now I know you guys were back and forth. You guys were playing in Jamaica and stuff. But when you guys got your big break in Jamaica, I think was World Clash 2007.
Yeah.
Walk us through that. What was that like now actually winning in Jamaica now?
Oh man, that was a great moment, great feeling. Like it was like another gate open kind of vibe there for me, because you know, Jamaica people is a people where, you know, them never give up. Them love them country, you know what I mean? Them you know, have so much pride in for them stuff, and which I really respect it. Like, but same thing. I know, like the island vibe, because Japan is an island as well, and you know,
Sure.
you have your pride, and you know, and then basically it was like Jamaica kind of free me up, kind of vibe there. I'm like, yeah, Jamaica finally free me up, man. 2007, because we've been clashing in Jamaica since 2000 or 2001. Every year we are playing Jamaica, and, you know, bring the excitement to the people, you know what I mean? So, you know, and we always, most of the time, maybe like 90% of the time, always end up in the finals. And then at the end of the day, like, even in the crowd, like some of the Jamaican youth them will come up to me and be like, yo, yo, Japanese, you're bad enough. But nah, like, you take that dance tonight, you know, but we're not give away the trophy. I'm like, oh shit, so Jamaica's there. Oh, blood clot, yo, this island no easy, man. But then we show our love, and we never give up, and you know, that was a year, like, you know, yo, and I kind of use the sites as well. I'll be like, yo, people, Jamaica, you know, every year we are come and represent, and we do good, and you know what I mean, we come for play the tune and for the people, and come for entertain. And my year this, man, I want to free me up, man. Come on, man. And people was like, yeah, man, no, all right, you get this one, man. Give them a chance.
But remember, that was the same year, I think, Bass Odyssey was going and Wicked. That was with Squingy, but Squingy had fell off of the scaffolding that year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So that was another year where, you know, so much drama, man. Like, you know, so much shit was going on. And yeah, so, you know, now Squingy had to, you know, lead the venue because he fall off of the stage. And then now, without the big front man gone for Bass Odyssey sound, hey, I was like, yo, I gotta attack this now. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, me and Bass Odyssey always, you know, going back and forth with it in the clashing thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it was always excitement with Squingy them and Mark, and you know what I mean? Yeah. So, well, that was the year, like, you know, I remember, like, I think Dilenji come in, and you know,
him and
and
Worm.
I tune for tune, yeah, and I tune for tune and say, yo, Japanese line. I'm like, yo, you know, I had every counteraction with that shit, like, at that time, like, and then yeah, and we won. Yeah, we finally won. So, you know, it was a great feeling, man.
That was big. I want to bring you to Canada now. We could either go when Dubs did nice, or we could go to tag team. You tell me which one you want.
Oh, which one you want, man.
Okay. You know what? We're gonna go not even tag team. I'm gonna go to this historic dance, and I'm gonna tell you why it was historic.
Okay.
Was the Mighty Crown, Alexa Supreme, and Rootsman. You remember that dance?
Okay. Yeah, man, definitely.
Okay. Why that dance was so historic? This is the first time I've ever heard, and I've never heard it before. the opposite sound play the other sound's dub and then turn around and counteract what they just played. That was in freaking insane. Now that this is years now, could you please tell us a story how that even happened? How you ended up getting that dub to to cut the counteraction to mash up the dance? How did that happen?
Oh man, how did that shit happen though? I remember it was Conscience.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Conscious dubplate, and one of the engineer, I think made a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the dance, like he happened to play the song, or he happened to have put that song in our shit, or some mistake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically happened, and it came towards me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the dub, and I was like, yo, Bumbo Clan, imagine I play this shit, and this will fuck up the dance, man. Fuck up for the meds. And then, and I told Conscience, I think, like at that time, right? I'm like, yo, me have this dub,
Mm-hmm.
and yo, I'm gonna play this shit, man. It's gonna get forward, you know what I mean? Like, but it was gonna bring a different kind of vibe, you know what I mean? Different kind of heat. Because imagine yourself being the other side of the opponent, you know what I mean? Like, you feel fuck up, you know what I mean? You feel like, yo,
how are you playing my dub?
Like, yo, that's a betrayal shit, like kind of vibe there, you know what I mean? So I told Conscience, like, yo, me have this dub on, yo, I'm gonna play this shit though. And then I heard him say, yeah man, no problem. Like, yeah man, okay. But it was another miscommunication. Like he from him point of view, he never said yeah man. Like it was a conversation, and I thought he said okay. Because this is a very sensitive situation, you know what I mean? This, right? So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna play this song though. That good no. I'm like, yeah man. In the conversation, but he never really said that. That's what he said, right? And I thought he said okay. That's why I played the song, and then they was like, "What the fuck, man? The fuck?" Because that's like, yo, man, yeah, man. We was like, yo, you not have no ratings like that shit. Like, you can brag and boast in that song because we can talk about all these shit because it's shit in the past. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And then we don't have no feelings against like Canadian sounds, and because Rootsman and them sound there. Alexa Streamer, the bad sound them in Canada. So, we can't talk about that shit, no. But, yeah. So I remember, like, so that's how it kind of happened. Like, kind of miscommunication. Because, after that, Conscience was vexed. Me and Conscience did have a vibe, after that, for a while. Like, yo, bumbo class, son, me never tell him. Yo, if you play that fucking song, I fuck with that. Like, I was like, but I thought you said okay with that shit. Like, I fucking confirmed that shit. And he's like, yeah, I never said that shit, man. Come on, man, But I was like, I thought you said okay, man. Come on, man. Why the fuck you give me that song then for? You know what I mean? Like, it was like whole, miscommunication kind of shit. But, I took that shit advantage to the fullest, I should say.
Because when we heard you play the Alexa Supreme dub, for a second, it's like the whole dance was confused. We were looking at each other like we weren't sure what we were hearing. But then when you turned around and played the counteraction, that's when we understood what the hell we were really hearing and what had just happened. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Yeah, it was a moment, man. It was one of the good moments for Mighty Crown in Canada.
Let's talk about another big moment for you. This is when dubs did nice. This is the one where it was you and Poison Dart and Super Fresh and King Turbo. You remember that dance?
Kind of. Is that the one with the artists? Them we bring the artists. Yeah, we bring Josie, right?
No, that was the one you brought Briggy and Johnny Osborne.
Okay, yeah. That was another nice dance. Yo, there's so much fucking nice dances when you're playing in Canada. Yeah. I mean, Canada's always, been showing love for Mighty Chrome, and I like, from day one, from I think it was the first time I went to Canada. It was World Clash Canada, maybe.
Canada World Clash, yes. And
Right? Yeah.
I gotta swear, you know what? Okay, forget it. Since we're here, I gotta swear for you for that one there.
Mhm.
That was a dance where you guys were basically leading that entire dance. But then Panta, this is where
Mhm.
Panta and his Sykes came in now.
Mhm.
Panta said, yo, I forgot what it was. If Mighty Crown won 3 rounds straight, everybody's gonna go home. Okay, dance is gonna be done, and we're gonna go home early. And Panta now. He said, no way. He took advantage. Say, yo, do you guys really want to leave so early? And people said no. And you see from there, it was strictly downhill from Mighty Crown.
Yeah.
Panta used the Sykes. I mashed you guys up that night there.
Your experience kill that, kill that, kill Mighty Crown that night, When like Panta was, Panta's been clashing from early 90s, you know what I mean? He's one of them man where, I've been listening on the cassette tape and, yeah, very impressive, you know what I mean? Like, especially he's one of the man that we used to cuss bad word as well. I mean, use the Sykes and, you know what I mean? But then, yeah, so it's definitely an experience where, Panta win that dance because we still young them time there, We's like maybe like 2 or 3 years old since we start Clash, like really, since World Clash 99, you know what I mean? Yeah, so, yeah, definitely, I think experience kind of win Panta that night there.
No, Panta, no singer. Who would you say would been your hardest competitor one-on-one? Because we know the World Clash 5 sounds and all that. But when it came to one-on-one, who was your hardest competitor? Win, lose, or draw?
I would say Bass Odyssey,
I knew you were going to say that.
Definitely with Squingy and Mark. Especially, Mark is the dangerous one, man, because he know which timing and when to play them song there. Squingy is, of course, the front man, but like, if it's Squingy and Mark, that's the time, like, you gotta go all out, like, but enemies necessary kind of vibe there, you know what I mean? But at the same time, before Squingy passed away, I remember like them telling me, like, yo, you guys are the most, they always say like, yo, it's so fucking hard to play against Mighty Crown. They said that shit, and I really appreciate, when them say that because they never can expect what we play in a dance. They always can, like they say, like they could kind of, read, like maybe like playing against Black Cat, they know certain songs I go play, like, you know what I mean, like, but playing against we, like, no, was always like,
you guys are gonna come with the bag
like,
of custom.
yeah, like, and then they don't know what kind of song we are gonna play against them, right? Yeah, always like, I mean, Bass Odyssey probably win like more than Mighty Crown, but we beat them enough time as well. I remember one of them dancing with Squingy, in a countryside in Jamaica, it was Mighty Crown versus Bass Odyssey. I think the cassette and none of these things come out on the road.
Okay.
It was somewhere in Santa Cruz or some like an hour drive from Mobile, and I would play with Bass Odyssey, and maybe like dance was like maybe like 300-400 people. Dance was like, a little bit not ram, but people did it, and it was a nice clash, man. Like, yo, we were like nailing Bass Odyssey, like first round, second round, and the third round we were like getting some Ross forward, and Squingy was like, fuck, shit, man. Can't believe like them Japanese youth, they're like busting up the place, and they were feeling that shit, right? But then at the third round now, Squingy fucking start cusp on the mic, I get bomba clap Japanese. And at that time, they used to have a restriction like, you can't cuss bad word like outside in the streets of Jamaica, like when you play sonar, you know what I mean? And then the officers them start coming, with some rifles and shit. And then they were like this towards, and they all stopped the music, and we were like, "Fuck, yo, the fuck is going on, man?"
Yeah.
And the dance stopped right there. So there was no going on after that. The dance done.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we were like, "Yo, one class squingy, call the police, them, you know." So, try to, save him fucking life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the dances that like people don't know about it, but like we were really giving it to Bass Odyssey, and Bass Odyssey was not connecting.
Yeah.
That was one of the dances, like, it was like really surprisingly, we were really doing exclusively well.
Mm-hmm. In Jamaica.
In Jamaica, in a countryside, and then nobody, expect, Japanese to go on so hard, and I never felt like, not panicking, but like, they were like confused, man, like, shit, what we gonna play? Like, you know what I mean? You know them vibe there, like, that's like, you can see it, like, you know what I mean? And me and Simon, they play, and, we were giving it to Bass Odyssey, and, and then, the police, the officer who was on duty, on security,
Mm-hmm.
who was the security guy. But then the officer outside came in like, "Yo, no cost bad, but too much, man. Yo, stop the fucking dance." And one gun towards this side, another gun rifle towards this side. And we were like, "Yo, fuck. No. Yo, no, it's
Not
a
in
wrap.
Jamaica. I'm not
Nah,
coming
man,
on Jamaica to get mashed up.
I was like, yo, man, don't point that fucking gun towards me, man. I was like, yeah, okay, I ain't playing no more, man. It's a wrap, man. All right, done.
Yeah. It's good. Keep it smooth. You know what? Mighty Crown has had a lot of amazing highs, and you guys had some lows too. But you guys, being on the ground for 30 years, you guys have done so much. Another one amazing thing that you guys done was the 3-peat on the Welcome to Jamrock Cruise.
Mhm.
How did that even come about in the first place?
Say it was my idea to do the clash on the sea.
Okay.
It was, so it was the first year when Jamrock Cruise sailed, I think it was 2014, I believe. And so we were invited by Damien, right? And Damien Marley, Junior Gang, and then so we were performing on the stage, like on the main deck on the first, I think it was the fourth night or something.
Mhm.
And then the feeling that I had like on the cruise was it was a vibe where I never expected.
Mhm.
It was a first time experience, and it was such a joyful moment, like, the energy going on the cruise. It was like, I was like, oh my God, yo, I didn't even know that this kind of world exists. Like,
Mhm.
that was like the first feeling I had. Like, and then the second year, like, the first year when I was invited, I was having so much fun, seeing all the entertainment, reggae entertainment, and, reggae 24/7 anywhere you go upon the ship. And, you get the food and all kind of things. And I was like, shit, I want to get back on this plane, man.
Mhm.
So I was like, people, do you want to see a soundclash next year? And I was like, yo, if I was gonna play in a soundclash next year, I would play a song like this. And I play one of Junior Gang song, the Mighty Crown dubplate, and get a forward. I'm like, and the next day, Dan, the manager of Junior Gang, was came up to me and like, yo, Sammy,
Mhm.
I was thinking about the idea, man. I'm like, yeah, yeah, Tabo, man. I me mentioned it last night. I gave you a perfect idea, man. But so I basically wanted to go up on a cruise like next year. So I was thinking of like, what would be a good idea. And so that idea came up to my mind, and from the next year, the clash started, man. And look at now, it's a history. You know what I mean?
What were your, out of the 3 clashes, do you have a special moment that sticks out to you from those 3 clashes?
Oh, definitely the one when we played Taurus Riley, man. The whole world know about that, and you know what I mean. And Mataran, I gotta say enough respect to Mataran, man. Mataran always bring that excitement when Mighty Crown and Mataran buck up, because Mataran is a kind of character where he always bring that joy, and joyful energy moment, you know what I mean? And I'm also like same kind of vibe, you know what I mean? So that's the energy where we bring upon the table. So definitely that moment, and that Taurus Riley wasn't like really big song when you come to Taurus Riley catalog. That's one of the song them. It's not like super huge song, but it's a big song. After I played that in the class, it
That
has
was
become.
Don't Come Back.
Yeah, it was a perfect timing with the lyrics, everything connect. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's a dope. That's a special, I guess you could say. And that was one of the moments where that clash was the biggest clash for me. Like the out of the tree. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big there. Another super bright moment was, I remember, like, this was a couple of years ago. I was looking at YouTube. Somebody sent me a link, and it was either TOK was performing or you guys were playing a TOK in the stadium in Japan. And it looked like there was 1 million people waving their rag at one time. Like, how did you guys even come up with that festival in the first place? Yokohama Reggae Si.
Yo, so we basically started off with a maybe like 150 people when I came up with that idea. We basically was like wanted to keep a show, like like if you can't bust in your town, I believe like you can't bust anywhere you go in that world. If you don't have the props in your fucking town, yo man, you're not make it in the other side of the world, So that was my mentality, like if you don't have, basically you have to run the grounds, you know what I mean? So we started off, doing off like, basically a show, like a party, like, regular dance, basically, and we name it Yokohama Reggae Sai. It was called Yokohama Reggae Bash first, the first year. But then we wanted to, have a name like Reggae Sai. Sai means like festival in Japanese, right? So and have the kanji word, and then that kind of is a kanji where everybody knows is a festival, like a traditional festival kind of vibe, and then so that's how we changed the name, and then every year the our props was growing, people was feeling our vibes, because that to go to that stadium show, it started off with 150 people first. And 150 became 200, 200 became 400, 800, and now we start reach like 1,000 people venue. And then when we start reach 1,000 people venue, there was 1,000 people outside who couldn't come in. So it was growing like very fast pitch, very fast pace. And then now it was 2,000 people venue, right? I still have a picture of it as well. Like, now it's in 2,000 people venue, and there's 2,000 people now who can't come in at the venue. Like so much people vexed, like they're still lining up outside, waiting to have a chance to get in. Like, that's how massive we became. And then after that, we was like, yo, we got to bring this to outside venue, man. This is becoming like ridiculous. Like, we're losing food, you know what I mean? Like 2,000 people outside, you know what I mean? So no, we said, let's go to the 10,000 people venue. But it was a risk, it's a gamble too, you know what I mean? Because when you play outside, you have the weather risk as well, and then you don't know if people are go full up. But then like the first outside venue when we go, it was like 10,000 people, right? And then it was like fucking sold out in like maybe like 5 minutes. Ticket got sold out in like. It was like a big hype at that moment. Like Mighty Crown was like the real fucking shit in Japan. And then we were keeping our own show, you know what I mean? And then like no sponsors and shit, Other big festivals in Japan has all the big sponsors, and they get the same amount of people. But then like after that, like we gotta move to the next bigger place. 10,000 people to now 20,000 people venue. And then after that, it was like, yo, we got to go to the stadium, which that's the only place that can hold more people. And then we did like, well, maybe 5 years straight in stadium and sold out again, like in like maybe like 30 minutes. Sold out 35,000 people in
When I
stadium.
seen the crowd waving, I'm telling you, the flags or whatever they were waving, that was the most insane thing I've ever seen a crowd do, boss. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was like, never expect myself to reach at that, point, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
As a soul man, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And a soul man keeping this dance, you know what I mean?
That's wild. You've
Yeah.
done 30 years in the business now. You guys are about to go on a tour called the
Mhm.
Final Tour, all right?
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
also have a cruise called the Far East Cruise. But even before we get into that, why do you guys think now would be a time to retire, or why do you want to retire from the sound business?
Well, basically, we just want to take a break for a while, and because we've been there, done that. You know what I mean? Every year we've been touring like 4 corners of the earth. We've been doing this for 20 years now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then we want to reach. We are greedy in a sense, maybe I should say. Like, we always want to reach to a different level.
Mm.
We've been there, done that. We reach a level where enough, soul man can reach this stage. I played like in Barclays Center already, like BB King's maybe in New York. One of the, the spot where, never expect a soul man to play. You know what I mean? So, I reached that stage. I went to O2 Academy Arena in England, which is like the big venue then where Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rihanna, John Legend, all these people performing that stage, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then, now is, I reached this, so, and then I reached there, done that, you know what I mean? As a soul man, I'm like, yo, what's next?
Mm.
So that's the stage where we reach right now, you know what I mean? And then, what would be the next move? And we basically want to expand and grow bigger, you know what I mean? And then another thing though is reggae and dancehall is the biggest influential music in the world, but the industry structure
Mhm.
is like very weak in sense of like compared to like hip hop and EDM and other kind of music. They have a massive crowd, like, worldwide, you know what I mean? And then that's the stage where I want to, kind of bring reggae and dancehall
Mm.
to, you know what I mean? The reggae and dancehall feel up the same way like as hip hop and EDM them, because but I think there's like, there has to be like a nice structure
Mhm.
in the industry, like, because it has a structure that's like missing, you know what I mean, in reggae and dancehall fraternity. Like, I think there have to be more unity, have to be more, people have to know more, have to understand how the industry work, kind of shit, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like there's a lot of a misunderstanding, I think in the business, and then that needs to be fixed. So I'm thinking like if we can, if we can reach to, if we can be, one of the people who can, bring that shit to that stage would be nice. And then, and it being a soulman alone can't really, bring that whole shit. So I might more like focus on more like production work on, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Because I know you do production. You guys are into everything. You guys have done brand deals with Nike, Clarks. You're an
Yeah.
artist too. I know you have a newer song called Internet Badman, Internet Bad Gal. You guys have your record label. You have your clothing label. You have production. You guys just have everything you guys put together from first starting from listening to cassettes to here you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's an amazing freaking journey, boss.
Yeah, true, man. True, man. When you really, you know, go back and look to the all the experiences. It's just this amazing journey, man. Like I'm thankful for it. I give thanks to all the people I met throughout this journey. There's some you who passed and gone, you know already, and we not forget them as well. And then there's that the same. We want to bring like more energy though on table, you know what I mean? Like different kind of vibe. We want to bring all more of the young youth them, man, you know, because there's a lot of talent out there. And then but it's hard, man. Um I know like Mighty Crown can be a big part to bring this reggae and dancehall industry like to a different level.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's it's also as kind of hard as well, because like not all though, like some of the artists is very hard to deal with in that sense. Like once you try approach them like, yo, look this, like even in Japan, Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard, like because they don't understand they don't see the vision.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have like some kind of structure and be like, yo, look at these fucking guys, man. Like, what I mean? We want to reach that kind of level there. That's our next goal. Do you get what I'm trying to say though?
Of course, and you
Yeah.
figured that in order to do it, you guys being on the front line might not be the best place where you could do it. It's more you guys could do it from the boardroom and in different playing different
Exactly.
positions in the business.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. We want some other people to be in the forefront, and you know what I mean? Like, but we can be some of the the brains, like what I mean,
For
like
sure.
the man who have the ideas, and because sometimes I also even feel the production, because like dubplate voicing, right?
Mhm.
The customize and all these things, that we've been doing all through the years in our soundclash business.
Mhm.
Imagine putting that energy in a one artist.
Mm.
I'm not saying one though. Like I would
Mhm.
like to do like, a whole heap of artists more and deal with, but like, let's start with one. But
Mhm.
if that kind of energy connects and clicks into the lyrics, it's gonna be a bomb, man.
But you got to remember, this is now where publishing and real business comes into play. Because if you put all this energy into a dub plate that you only could play, nobody else could
Mhm.
play it anywhere. Doesn't matter. Imagine you create a hit song that
Yeah,
anybody could play. Now
exactly.
you're doing real business.
Yeah. So that's where I would like to move on towards. I mean, Mighty Crown is gonna take a break. I mean, we're gonna retire as a sound.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But like, it's not. That doesn't mean like we're gonna come off of the come off of the business. Like if come out of the industry, at Mighty Crown we name, and I mean, and we can do a lot of other stuff, like especially like the production work, and
Mhm.
hopefully we can get involved in that, and some of the artists that can really appreciate our work, and we can work together and be like, yo,
Mhm.
enough to be we outside, as you mentioned, like what I mean, enough to be we in the forefront.
Yeah. You could take it because again, so then now closing off, this is where you guys are definitely closing off this part of the
Uh-huh.
journey, the song part, which is now the final round tour.
Yeah.
With Mr. Rodigan too, the first man to give you the kill after World Clash, but I could see that you guys always had a different type of admiration for Rodigan. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
definitely. I have so much respect for Rodigan, man. Man, coming from the 70s, 80s, definitely the elder who showed, being a non-Jamaican and being in the industry, probably, he probably had it even more rough back in the days. So, watching him alone, is an inspiration, and the knowledge where him have, with the songs them, is also very inspiring, and then um I'm glad to have Rodigan for the final tour, which is yeah, he's coming this week actually, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's
The
gonna
tour
be
kicks off in about 2 or 3 days.
yep, exactly. So that's gonna be the first First chapter for the final season. Yeah, so we have David Rodigan. We're doing our last tour. This is Rodigan's last tour as well in Japan.
Mhm.
Because because he's not young like back in the
Mhm.
days, you know what I mean? So he said he's not gonna do no more like long traveling tours.
Mhm.
I mean, so this is gonna be the last one, you know what I mean? So I'm glad to have Rodigan, definitely, because he always brings that energy on the table. I mean, so we're gonna kick off with that, and then so that's going to be our first chapter. Our second chapter is another one, the Yokohama Reggae Sai. We're bringing back the outside festival for the one last time. So that's going to be the second chapter, which is in June 24th, 25th, outside venue. It's going to be crazy. I know so much people. Last night we announced it, and so much, the feedback is huge right now.
Yeah.
And then in the Yokohama Reggae side, the word is trending in Twitter right now, so that's how big it is right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then will we be seeing you guys in Canada, North America, or anything on the final round tour?
Yeah, definitely, man. Our visa just got approved, so we definitely have to touch down New York City, which is my second home
Mhm.
from besides Yokohama. And Canada, of course. We trying to sort out the dates, the in between dates, where we don't have the shows them in Japan.
Mhm.
And yeah, we definitely have to touch down those soil, man, because hopefully I could touch down Canada, New York, US, and England and Jamaica, and like rest of the Caribbean islands, who's been showing us. We're going to Bermuda as well. We have show in Bermuda already, that's confirmed, in April 8th.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we definitely gonna come down the other side of the world, and then hopefully finish off with the Far East Reggae Cruise, which is the
Yes.
first cruise ever in Japan, first music cruise ever in Japan, and it's
First
the biggest.
music cruise.
Yeah, first music cruise. There's cruise in Japan as well, only like but the people is always like after is a retirement kind of thing, like 65 and up kind of vibe, but like. Now we're bringing a different kind of energy, like even the young people can enjoy the cruise, because this is what a cruise is. One of the thing, like I really felt
Mhm.
a vibe, different vibe compared to the festival vibes and stuff like that. So this is also like another thing, like to expand um the reggae and dancehall brand, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And definitely, the cruise, a cruise is not the easy deal, you know what I mean? This is like one of the biggest gamble that we did in our whole career, maybe. You know what I mean? Never done before in Japan. Once in a lifetime experience.
Mhm.
Far East Reggae Cruise. This is it, people. If you've never been to Japan, this is the time. This is the right fucking time to come, people. Mosa, you need to come true too, man. You know what I mean? This
You know
is it,
what?
man.
That's my personal invitation. So don't be surprised if you see me on the boat front and
Oh,
center too.
my God, madness, man. Far East Reggae Cruise.com, people. Please come true. We have Sanchez, TOK,
Wayne Wonder,
Wayne Wonder,
Freddie McGregor,
Freddie McGregor so far on the
TOK.
lineup. Yeah, and we're trying to, hopefully get couple more acts, hopefully. And we have a lot of Japanese acts as well, who's holding up, Japan scene as well. And we also have Massive B from New York City, and we also have Rory from Stone Love. And we also have DJ Puffy
Puffy,
represent the Caribbean island. One of the baddest DJ them, yeah.
Wicked from Barbados.
Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be a crazy party. It's a Mighty Crown's last show. So yo, please come forward, man, if you can
What's
come.
the
You know what I
what's the
mean?
date?
The date is July 15th till the 20th,
Mhm.
2023.
And where could they find out more info on the cruise and also the final round tour?
Definitely you can check www.fareastreggaecruise.com for the cruise, and then there's the Japanese site and the English site.
Mm.
If you go on top of the right side of the screen, you can click the English version to it, and it will give you all the English version, right? So that's the link for the Far East Reggae Cruise, and then also the final round tour would be mightycrown.com and also probably irishandchin.com.
Mhm.
I mean, so basically log into Sound Chat and you should get some of the information if you're more like on that side of the world. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Definitely. Sammy, thank you so very much for sitting down for this in-depth conversation to see things from your eyes, how you've seen it being on the big stage in front of thousands of people, your wins, your losses, your draws, getting into the business. And
Mhm.
again, I know that you guys have done 30 years. It's sad to see you guys coming off of the front line of playing music, but it's also exciting to see what you guys are going to do in the next chapter of Mighty Crown.
Yeah. Yeah, give thanks, man. Most of thanks for the, interview same way. I mean, I haven't spoke a lot of these stuff like really in none of the podcasts them, you know what I mean? So big up yourself, you know what I mean? Keep up the good work, man. Keep up the energy because we need people like you to, spread the words, you know what I mean? We need them kind of platform as well, and you know what I mean? Hopefully people come in to, um see this whole interview and shit. You know what I mean?
You understand right now, before I get you out of here, if there's anything you want to big up, anything you want to say right now, the floor is yours right now before we go.
Thank you for all through the years for the support, you know what I mean? Thanks for believing in us, you know what I mean? Mighty Crown is definitely a name that is made it, the we stamped our name in the book, you know what I mean? In the reggae book, I guess. Yeah, believe in yourself, man, people. Sound system can take it this far, and we prove it to the world, you know what I mean? I mean, you need to have a good team as well. I mean, some people we can believe in, you know what I mean? You can trust, and, believe in yourself first, you know what I mean? Don't watch the money and the dungo first, man. That shit will come after, you know what I mean? So I just want to say enough respect. Thank you once again for the support, you know what I mean? And I'll hopefully see you guys at FarEastReggaeCruise.com.
Either on the cruise or on the tour, but we'll connect somewhere. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I'll
man,
come over there.
definitely, man. I
Over
hope people catch the last leg of the tour. You know what I mean? The last round tour. You know what I mean? See you somewhere in another part of the world. Hopefully, also as Japan. You know what I mean?
You understand? Sammy, let me give you an outro and get you out of here from this wicked, epic conversation. You understand?
Yeah, man.
Bam. Well, ladies
Good
and
stuff.
gentlemen, this is Muscle, and this has been another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast, and we are out. This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinedmusichut.com.